You know what? I have been talking to myself for the last minute. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Thank you, Kelsey. I'm probably a little red, but I guess I have to learn how to hit a bloody go live button. I mean, this is how new I am with this stuff. And the other thing, just before we go on, my buddy Norm the gnome broke his hand. I mean, we got to do something about this, Kels. So let's sit back. And again, this is just another session of Lunch with the Beard Guy. I'm Norm Farrar, and over the next 20 to 30 minutes, I hope to be able to answer some questions and also talk to you about some of the issues that are coming up with Amazon sellers. So let's see. Thank you again, Kelsey. He's doing his millennial thing and making me make sure I say this announcement. If you haven't already, please like and follow me here on this page or on my other social media. Got it? That's good. All right. So let's talk about the 7 mistakes Amazon sellers make. And if they don't fix the mistakes, or some of them, their product will probably fail. If they do, sales would probably be increased. So, and by the way, if you do have any questions during this next 20 or 30 minutes, just put it in the comment section. My son, Kelsey, will then, my assistant, by the way, will let me know. So don't worry about interrupting me. This is for you. And again, if you're not sure of something, just let us know. So the first thing that we're going to be looking at, oh, and again, he's telling me to make sure that you guys hit the likes. So undercapitalization, that's probably the first one and probably one of the more important things. So whenever you're looking at getting into Amazon, we look at inventory, and most people just think, oh, if I buy X number of units, I'm good. You might be coming into it with $2,500, which is usually very low nowadays, but let's say that you have a few $1,000s to spend on a product. Well, you go and you talk to your manufacturer, and they come back and, okay, you can mark it up, 2 or 3 times. So you're making an all right profit, but you're not understanding, what it's going to cost for marketing or packaging or additional shipping. More importantly, people don't realize that when they have a successful product, you've got to buy more inventory, and usually a lot more inventory. So let's say you're doing 500, maybe you're going to have to bump that up to 1,000 units or 1,500 units. And if you don't have the capital, then you're in trouble. So you've got to either figure out a way to finance it, and hopefully, oh my gosh, I hope that, it's not hand to mouth, right? So if this is money that you can't afford to get involved with a business, then don't. Wait till you have the money, because there's nothing worse than the financial stress of something like this not working. And I've had it happen. I've had it happen with a client of mine where we had a hit. We had a home run. It was going incredible. First month, sales doubled. Next month, sales doubled. By the third month, I had to, I didn't mind doing it, but I bought the company from him because he couldn't financially handle it, and he just couldn't buy the inventory. So you want to make sure that you can handle all the costs. And a really quick calculation might be taking your inventory and maybe doing 2.5 to 3 times what your inventory costs. So you've got to remember when it comes in, and when I talk about inventory costs, I'm talking about your freight costs. If it's landed into a warehouse, the cost over there. You've got to take a look at the other costs too. There's labeling costs, prep costs, any other types of costs that could come in. Add them up, and then make sure that multiply that by your inventory, and you can probably go 2.5 to 3 times. So one of the biggest culprits of eating up your budget is usually PPC or other marketing costs, Facebook or whatever. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then if you multiply that out, and if you're good, that's fine. And just remember, you're going to need inventory, and your inventory, if it takes off, could be a real problem. Probably more successful Amazon accounts that are undercapitalized fail. They fail because they're undercapitalized and they can't do what they need. And just think, sometimes you see these products They're out there. They're brand new, and you're wondering how they're doing what they're doing. It's because they have the budget to go out and put it onto PPC, bid higher so that they can get the data needed to make intelligent decisions. That they have the ability to go out and test Facebook, their Facebook campaigns. They have the ability to go out and get really good quality images. So I had a conversation this week where somebody really was just, they couldn't figure out why their sales were bad. Huge. It was a huge Donald Trump. Huge. It was a very popular category, and they were getting no sales. Well, iPhone to gorgeous, beautiful product pictures, but they couldn't afford it. Under capitalization. It's going to kill the product. So the next one. And I don't know if anybody has any questions on that, but okay, Kelsey's going no, so I can go on. So the improper, like going out and doing proper competitive analysis. So you want to make sure that you can compete with the people that are in your space. Now, everybody talks about reviews, and yes, that is one thing that you have to take a look at. But how competitive is the niche? And going back to the money, do you have the ability to do a successful launch and rank strategy considering that everything is equal? So a lot of the times, Amazon is one of these platforms that you don't have to be the big brand. You can be a micro brand and be successful. But the only way that you can be successful is understanding your competitors. So you can definitely go to Helium-10 and do all your research there with either their magnet or Cerebro. I use it all the time, and that gives you some really great data. But there's nothing better than actually going back to your competitors and see. And I'm not talking about just going back. Let's use my famous toe wart remover. Okay, very easy. You can go after toe wart treatment or toe wart removal, whatever that is. But you can also go into companies that might have other ingredients that you're using in that niche, like antibacterial, discolored toenails. See what they're saying, but go deep into the competitors. And I'm not talking about going one or two. If you're going to be putting time and money into your listing, check it out and go. Like, check out the whole first page. Go on to the second page. Type it into Google. See what either Google's Google Shop is doing. If there's anything there, or if there's any other competitors that you can see that have stores, and you can go in and check out their website on Shopify. Do whatever it takes, but you want to make sure that it's viable. That these people, again, I use Helium-10, so I use X-ray, and I take a look, and I get all the information that kind of gives me, I don't say, okay, this is rock solid. I have to take that as the tip of the iceberg, and then I dig a little bit deeper. So I want to make sure that I can go and do my proper keyword research. I want to be able to make sure that, what are the popular, just take a look at the competition. What are the top listings doing? And then for the most part, you can pretty much duplicate them. If you do have some unique selling prop or something unique to your product, you can also mention that. But if a product is doing something right, like, why break the model? Like, just work off of it if you can. And if you can add something, like, let's say you're working with shampoo or toe wart remover, maybe there's an ingredient that works really well that other people aren't using. And how do you get that information? You can look at it or go back and research the different Amazon listings or talk to your manufacturer about that. So going back and really checking out your competitors, and not just doing one or going back to the second. Check out everybody on first page, or even go into the second page. Go on to Google, check and see who the competitors are there, and even talk to different manufacturers about different formulations or different materials, or something that can make you different and stand out while you're creating a similar listing, if that makes sense. Number 3, the tip is a big one. I could spend all day just talking about this. and that's listing optimization. This is where, yeah, it can make a huge difference. We all talk about it. If you're on Amazon, you hear about listing optimization. If you're new to Amazon and you hear listing optimization, you might not know how in detail or in depth that you have to go. Every little thing counts. So let's start off with the listing, your primary image. Just looked at an image from one of our clients that they wanted to use, and just you better not. It's got a box in it, it's got a shadow in it, and the box isn't proportionate. So and if you're listening, by the way, I didn't say your product. So anyways, but you want to have that really incredible image, and a lot of people don't understand that. Okay, I've got a beautiful image, I took it with my iPhone. Well, yeah, it looks good to you and it looks good to your sister and your brother, but it really sucks to the rest of the world. If I take that image and I put it towards a proper product photography or proper photograph, you'll notice that there's different lighting, the way the lighting hits the product. I showed a pair of garden shears once, and it was just a product photographer, bad one, to one of the product photographers that we used, with the light coming off of the handles and just bringing up the true color of the metals. These are things that it costs more, unless you have some, maybe your neighbor or something, but usually it costs a little bit of money, but it's worth every penny, because they know the lens, they know the lighting, they know everything about product photography. They're not somebody that got the new iPhone 11 Max and they take really beautiful pictures. Save that for your own photo book or photos or whatever it is called on Mac. So that's the number one. Then you take a look at your slide deck. I call it a slide deck. Other people call it infographics. What can you put there? Oh, well, you can put the front of a box, the back of a box, the side of a box, the bottom of a box, and then you can take the picture of a bottle, and picture with the bottle with the cap off, and picture with a supplement, on the photograph. I've seen this, by the way, and that's really boring. Nobody gets any sales. Yes.
I do have a question.
I got a question.
So when looking at competitors, what would be the top 3 issues you would look for? Demand, overall, reviews, their marketing, pictures, etc. Is there a good resource that would have a list of things to look for in a competitor, and what's good and what's bad?
Okay, so what we're looking for in a competitor. I don't know if there's any list, but what I'm looking for, I call it the Brady Bunch, the Brady Bunch effect. And all I'm doing, there's no magic to this. I'm taking an image. I'm taking my competitors' images, and I'm looking at it. And if I were to go to Usability Hub or to Ep.5, would a focus group pick mine or come close to picking mine to any of the others? I do that with the other photography. So I want to make sure that everything I do is equal to or better to my competitors. When I take a look at the to the title or to the bullets, I'm doing the exact same thing. All I want to do is be equal to or better than the top competitors that are making the big bucks. So and you want to make sure that you're doing that research by using a tool. Again, I have nothing to do with Helium-10, but it's a tool that I always use. You can use seller tools. You can use other tools that are out in the market. This one provides me with X-ray, which gives me the overall view of the marketplace. And again, you have to go through and sift through and sort it out, but it shows what's selling, what the images look like, what the reviews are, what the average revenue is. You can see all this information at a glance. That gives you a bit of information. Then you can download the information. You can also go to your competitors and take a look at their reviews. What's good, what's bad, and make sure that when you're creating your listing that you're talking about the reviews, and if it's something negative, spin it. Just like everything that's going on with the presidential campaign. It's always spun somewhere. Do it with your listing. Spin it. Make it positive. So, if they're doing something that everybody hates, make it into a positive. So there's That's about the only things that, there's lots of things that you can do, but the more research that you do into your competitors, checking out their keywords, doing the reverse ASIN, like again using Cbro, you can get all that information, and there's so much you can do with it. And then it's just implementing a proper launch, which we'll talk about in a second. So I hope I answered that question correctly. And if you do have anything more that you want on the competitive research, you can always PM me or just shoot it into the comments. So let's go back to the poorly optimized listing. So the listing, we've got the one great looking photo. Now you're going down to your slide deck. And instead of just putting another image of your product, and you can, it might be, maybe there's one with the box, maybe without. What I like to try to do is, let's say that you have a really great, interesting steps. Maybe you've got directions. Well, instead of saying directions and putting a book like most people do or a lot of people do on their infographics, big issue. Why do you put a paragraph in your infographics? Put it in your bullet points. If it's not in your bullet points and it's that important that it has to be in your infographics, make it one of your bullet points. Don't make people read. The only people who are going to read it is you. So anyway, make it fun, or make it very straightforward. You want instructions? Okay, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, wash it off. And step 4, enjoy. Something simpler like that. It's a little bit engaging. Then you go to the next one. It could be a feature. It could be benefits. It could be lifestyle. Lifestyle images, showing social proof is so important. And for any of us that have brand registry, put a video up there. The ability to show video, I know going through a Thomason blog article I was reading, it was 480% more engagement on videos than on strictly images. So check out, if you can add a video, add a video. Not all of us can, but if you have brand registry, you should be able to. Then look at your title. There's some really bad titles out there. Amazon's terms of service or guidelines tell us to put the brand in front. Some people do, some people don't, but your main keyword should be up front. Now we have the ability that you can put a combination of keywords together, and at least this is what we found over the years, is as long as the keywords or the phrase that you want, the individual keywords, are 15 words apart, they can come together in any combination. So just something to think about. Don't make it the 16th word. Like let's say you're doing natural shampoo, and 16 words down the line you want to add conditioner. It won't pull it up as well as if it was closer. And you don't want to keyword stuff, and also you want to maybe have it a bit more engaging, like what's it going to do or how is it going to benefit you. And one thing that we found, I don't know, maybe this is a complete fluke, but I was told the other day, so I sell some dog products, and we put in the title, our listing was suppressed. Well, we had for small and large dogs. And the person at the end of Amazon, and we got it confirmed twice, they said that you're no longer allowed to have a targeted audience in your title. Okay, I don't know why. You can't put for small kids, for large kids, for women, for I don't know, bald men with beards. Can't put it in there. Now, I don't know if this was just a fluke, but that's what they told us, and we had it confirmed. And once we took out for small to medium or to large dogs, our listing came back. So yeah, crazy stuff. And in your bullets, don't write a book, especially think of people right now with mobile. Mobile is where it's at. Over 60% of people shop on mobile. So if you got a book, it's not going to get read. Just put the information that you need. You can use capital letters. Amazon style guidelines say you shouldn't, but anyways, I think that's it's a pattern interruption, which it says, okay, here's your most important point, and then they can read on. but I try to keep it to, one, maybe 2 lines. I don't know how many characters that is, but you don't want to have like 10 lines. I think they allow for 500 characters, but that's way too much. And you can have, the 5 bullets, utilize it. Do not use 100% guaranteed satisfaction, anything like that in your bullets or in your title. 100% or free. So I always put non instead of free because that's an issue. And then when you're looking at your listing, are you going to offer a digital coupon? People love digital coupons. And then you can use, for us, we use a dollar savings coupon rather than a discount. Frequently bought together on your listing. If you have a variety of different products, why don't you get the sale for it? If you've got somebody that's, you'll see this a lot. You've got 2 or 3 different products that you sell, and let's say it's shampoo, and you've got a conditioner. Makes sense. And you don't have the frequently bought together. 33% of all sales on Amazon happen through frequently bought together. Well, if you don't have that, you're giving your competitor or whoever it is on the frequently bought together the opportunity to get that sale. So it's simple. You can go out, you can use Thomason, or you can use a platform where people buy a couple of your products, and guess what? 1 or 2 products will probably get you that frequently bought together. It doesn't take a lot for under probably the high majority of circumstances. And then we want to make sure that you have questions. If you have no questions, what it does is it fills it up. It gives people the opportunity to look at your listing. And you also want to have, what did I miss here? You missed the related videos. So some of the fun stuff that we do is we have a video shoot. So we'll do it all in a half day or so. And we'll take the information and we'll cut up into smaller videos. They're how-to videos. And then we put thumbnails on them, and it looks like it's an ongoing, almost like a playlist. So it's not with your competitors, showing their product on your site. You've got this group of videos that looks really impressive. Now, if you want, this is a whole other thing, but on your mobile app, if you're working with Amazon Posts, this is, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, this is something that I would not overlook. If you're not doing it, check it out. Go to posts.amazon.com and start doing it. It's Amazon's social media platform, and that works perfectly, especially during a product launch. And the last thing that you're looking at for your again, this is if you have related, brand registry, is what used to be called EBC, now it's called A+, a really impressive looking A+ page. If you don't and you have a product description page, make it engaging. Do what you can to make it look nice. I know that there's limitations with the product description page, but you can put in HTML code to make it look nice. But with A+ pages, so many people do a bad job of it, and I've heard people say, "Oh, my sales have gone down." Well, yeah, since you launched, take a look at what you're promoting. Just think of it as another chapter, another way, another touch point where you can go in and get a sale from Amazon. So this is where you might add a list of the features or benefits or ingredients or why people should buy your product over your competition. Remember those negative issues that we're going to spin? That's where you can put them in there. And don't write a book. For us, I like doing bullet points. Some people, like when I talk to clients about it, they go, "Oh, I want to write this, novel." And no, very like bullet points. Bullet points are good. People will read that. They're not going to read a novel. So that's, for product optimized listings, there's lots of different things you can do. Your best friend is a good split test or focus group. And again, I recommend either Ep.5 or Usability Hub. Now, this is going to be a short one, so I'm not going to be long-winded on this. Get a trademark. There's so many reasons that you need to have a trademark on Amazon. The biggest is getting brand registry. So people have gone out. I'm one. I have a generic I have a generic name for one of my brands, and I learned the hard way. I bought this very expensive, like in the thousands of dollars domain name for my brand. I thought, oh, this is, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I learned that again when it goes to trademarks. I didn't know as much as I thought. I couldn't trademark the generic name, but by norm is fine. So, and I'll give you the example. So, soap.club, okay, candle.club, and deadseamud.club. These are things that can't be trademarked. I mean, if you can, let me know how you did it. But I found out that I couldn't do it. So, how do I get brand registry? So now I have to, figure out, okay, how do you do it? I talked to trademark lawyer, and I have to make it more specific. So that's all I have to say about trademarks, except make sure that if you need a trademark and you want to get brand registry and you don't want to wait a year, go through a program that Amazon has called Amazon AI, Amazon A.I. And they're going to, they don't get you a trademark faster, but what they do, they allow you to work with a lawyer who they know will get you the trademark, and they allow you to have brand registry within weeks rather than 6 or 9 months. Other, I guess, 0.5, wow, already. Product launches, poor product launches, afraid to make money on product, or afraid to spend money on product launches. There's a right time and a wrong time to spend money, and you can either kill yourself with a poor product launch, and I mean that goes with a PPC launch. Okay, so when I'm talking about product launches, I'm talking about 3 things. A proper product launch has PPC, it has rebates and press releases, and it has Amazon posts. An optimized product launch has all 3. If you're not doing all 3, you're leaving money on the table. If you're not willing to spend money for PPC and at least to get the data, usually it takes a little bit of time to get information with your PPC. You have to spend money. If you're too worried that you're not going to get if you're too worried that you're not going to be seen anywhere, you got to find out where your data is. You've got to figure out what Amazon's seeing and what you should be and how you should optimize your title maybe, or what's working, what's converting. And what we try to do is if there's a bid of $1, we'll bid $3, maybe $4 at the beginning to get that data. We want to ensure that we're going to be seen and we get the impressions. So don't be afraid to do that up front. If you're going to go out and you're going to do a Hail Mary and you're going to have 10,000 keywords and have all these manual campaigns, and you're going to be on an exact match or a phrase match or a broad match, you're going to kill yourself. You don't have to do that all at once. You can build it up. And I mean, if let's say if you want to check out what you think a medium to low competitive keyword is, go out, play with it, see what happens. I wouldn't be like, for me, let's say I'm my category, one of my categories is bully sticks. I would be dead in the ground if I tried to go out and get bully sticks. I'm going to go after a long tail. And again, my research is going to show me that, maybe it's odorless bully sticks or grass-fed bully sticks. Or maybe I want to go to a longer term, 6-inch grass-fed bully sticks. But anyways, just play around with that. PPC, I'll get somebody to come on and talk to you about PPC, but that's a whole other day. The next is rebates. All different types of rebates. You can spend $3 on a rebate. You can spend $20 on a rebate. Yeah.
Peter says good morning from Malaysia again.
Oh, hey, Peter. Geez. Again, thanks for joining. So going back to the rebates. So a rebate is a full purchase buy that you're giving to somebody. So somebody's either, let's say that you're working with a chatbot, and you've got Facebook traffic that's being driven over to the chatbot, and you're asking somebody to participate. They might be somebody who's a pet owner who wants a free bully stick. Okay, the whole sequence, we could break that out for you. Actually, we could probably do a really good lunch with breaking out of a search, find, buy sequence. I'm not going to get into that today, but what you're doing is you're giving an opportunity to somebody to get your product for free. They go and buy the product using specific keywords, and then you give them their money back. Amazon sees it as a verified review, and they pay you back roughly about 75%. And anyways, it's a very inexpensive way to gain ranking on Amazon, and you can solidify it by using press releases. So we kind of put the two together, and the stickiness of the keywords are usually fairly good because you've got the authority links coming into the listing. Amazon seems to like that. You've got the rebates that are coming in using specific keywords that are in the press release, and Google loves it because you're providing authority and knowledge and education, so you get ranked there. So you get ranked on, sorry guy, put you back there. You get ranked on Google. Amazon likes you, and the quality of the rebate that you're buying. So again, it ranges from $3 to up to $20, but the buyer quality score means that you have to probably give out more for lower quality than higher quality buyer scores. Usually the higher the quality is based on the price point. And the reason why that is you can go to an app a lot of the times that don't vet to a company that does vet and gives specific instructions to their network. So excuse me, we could get on and we could talk to a couple of different people, maybe one of the next lunches coming up, and they can talk about their platforms and how to use it. And that could be also with a search, find, and buy platform. And then we've got Amazon Posts. So Amazon Posts is really cool, where you can take a post, so it's a social network, you can post it on Amazon. That post goes onto your competitor's listing. If you don't know about Post, yes, it goes on your competitor's listing. Yes.
We have a question from Marcin. What's a great source of getting ideas for lifestyle images to give to your photographer?
Okay, so lifestyle images, you can give lifestyle images, or you can ask your photographer to go out and get a model, and let's say it's a supplement, so maybe it's a health oriented supplement. You can show people walking. If it's for age related, or like say it's an anti-aging product, you might be able to see like a fairly healthy man or woman, active with very youthful. You can get models to do that. You can get stock photos and have a good graphic artist just Photoshop your product into the scene. I do like using real models. They're not necessary though. What I like using is influencers, and you can go to IntelliFluence, you can go to Thomason, you can come to us. We have over at PR Reach, we have a ton of influencers that we provide product, and we get them to do a photo with the product. And so that way you don't have to go out and spend tons of money on a model. You can get multiple people doing social photos. And the nice part about it is you can use this for social proof on any platform, as well as in your post. So if you've got social proof like that, and people see you posting on Amazon Posts, it provides the proof and authority that you've got a great site, you've got a great product. The other thing is, like for lifestyle, you can also go to, let's say you're in the cooking industry or the kitchen utensils, send them to great chefs, and have them post, or create a contest and have them tag you. So put it in your insert card that, if you use the product, put it on your Instagram account and tag me, and you have a chance to win $100 gift card or something like that. And that'll give you a ton of content that you can use. Now, the trick with Amazon Posts is, first of all, it's free, so there's no trick to that. But you have to continually give quality images. Most people that are successful with it post multiple times a day, not just once, and they're shoppable. So we've got, and I hope the one person that I know is on here, which I'm not going to say his brand, but we have we've helped get an average of 20,000 impressions up to 200,000 impressions over a 3-day period. And that's by just putting out quality posts, seeing what's engaging. Unfortunately, right now, Amazon doesn't allow you to comment or vote on the post, but I'm sure that's coming. But the big, what I like about Amazon posts is when they do look at your post and they want to, if they've made it hard for people to buy, it actually takes 3 to 4 clicks to buy your product. So those people who click on your post, then click on the summary, like show product, and then click on your listing, they are people that they're no longer tire kickers. So your conversion rate goes up, which helps everything in your buying process. So, when you take a look at your PPC report or just your business report, you'll see conversion rates are up. Why? Because you've got this quality, you've got a captivated audience going over and buying your product at a very high conversion rate. So poor launches, you want to make sure that if you are using rebates, going back there for a sec, that you're giving out a good number of rebates. And where do you find that? Use one of the tools that are on the market. I'm using Cbro, so I can see the giveaway account. And I don't use the amount that, and this is a trick, by the way, when you see that there's 100 units that have to be given away, that's 100 units to be on first page. What I use is I usually take about 30%, knowing that if I do this properly, that 60% to make up will come organically. So that's why I don't have to give away as many as you see. So people waste their money doing that too. The other thing is, when you're doing a campaign like this, going back to rebates, you can start off with a drip campaign. Let's say you have 4 or 5 different keywords you want people to use. Just put out 1 a day or 2 a day and see what keywords are working. And then that's where you throw your money. You put it on the keywords that are moving up quicker. And then you take a look at the keywords that maybe aren't working. And maybe the keyword is 17 words away from the phrase that you want to rank or index. Oh, and by the way, index. If you're doing any of this without indexing, you're just going blind. Make sure any keyword phrase that you're working with in a press release, PPC, in your rebates posts, that they're indexed. So again, usually these research apps have something to do with indexing. They usually give you a green light or an orange light, or I got a notice popping up here. But make sure your keywords are indexed.
Yeah. Oxana says, "So nice to see you. Warm regards from Prague."
I can't wait till this is over and you bring your kids over to Perry Sound, which is just down the road. Wow, how are you? So now that I coughed in everybody's ear, I got to get used to the mute button. Let's try this again. Understanding numbers. We touched on this. So this is number 7. It's probably one of the more important ones. They're all important, but if you don't know your numbers, it's such a generic statement. You can, I have dealt with an 8-figure company and they lost $100,000. 8 figures and they lost $100,000. They didn't know their numbers. Everything came very quick. Going back 5 years ago, everything looked great, but PPC was at over 200%. That they didn't consider all the different charges that Amazon, including long-term storage fees. So long-term storage fees, I just saw a guy yesterday that has a $6,800 bill coming up. And so we got to get that stuff out back over to a warehouse. We don't want to have that. People make really big mistakes by putting all of their product over on Amazon and not using a 3PL or a warehouse. So you don't want to get these long-term fees. You'd rather spend $20 a pallet storing it and then just sending it over as needed. It'll be way cheaper. Using a foreign exchange bank, that's so important to keep costs down. My bank, I know my bank charges $45 on a wire, and they charge money coming in, and they just see me coming with, pigeon. And we've gone out and we're really great now at making sure that we go through a foreign exchange bank. We've got great rates that we looked at Amazon. I'm in Canada. They were charging us 4%. So 4%. Now, do $10,000, it's a lot of money. Do $1 million, do $10 million. I mean, you're paying a lot of money to Amazon for their foreign exchange. It's crazy. PayPal. A lot of people are using PayPal to pay suppliers. I mean, there's so many there's foreign exchange banks out there that will give you a small percentage, a fraction of what you normally would pay. And that $45 wire that I normally paid is pretty much free now. Everything's ACH, which is just it's just an electronic transfer. So it's either free or you pay $1.50. It's a lot different than having to pay huge fees. Now, some other companies, they pay a percentage on the transaction, but you just have to weigh it out. And dealing directly with a currency makes a bigger difference in dealing with this is a whole other topic, but dealing with your Chinese manufacturers in RMB rather than US dollars, you could probably save yourself anywhere from 5%, 10%, maybe even higher, because they're worried about the market fluctuation. They're just hedging the dollar amount. Paying them in RMB, you're paying them flat out, and you'll save yourself right there. So there's lots of little ways that you can save money. Your FOB point, by you creating or working out with your logistics company, we just saved a company $6,000 because we picked it up and sent it over to Amazon, to the warehouse and over to Amazon, where they were going to let their manufacturer do it. Letting your manufacturer do your packaging. They're not manufacturers. They're just going to their buddy's place. They're manufacturers. They're not designers. Just check it out. There's lots of packaging companies out there, and you can go and get that price and then give it to your manufacturer. So here's a tip with your manufacturer, by the way. When you're working with your manufacturer and you're sourcing, get a rock bottom price on the product. Negotiate it as if you're going to buy it. This hand that broke off, Norm. Anyways, let's say that's $1. Okay, it's $1 unpackaged. You work out a price with your supplier. Now you go to your packaging company that you found, and maybe you get the insert and the packaging, and you come back and say, hey, you see this? This has to be packaged somewhere. Could you package this for me? Number one, they'll probably do it for free to put it in the package. Most of the time, the high majority of the manufacturers will package for free. The other part is with packaging, they're probably going to put on at least 30%, 40%. If you're supplying the package, you're going to save that on the packaging costs. So it's just a really quick, easy way that you can go out and get the packaging just like they would. Yeah.
And Anto Dragomir says, where's the doggo? Where's the dog? Dallas.
Oh, yeah. So the dog, Dallas, is gone. My cigar dog, if you are watching I Know a Guy, the other podcast, we'll give you the heads up. Okay, this is my little mascot on I Know a Guy, which is my other podcast. But yep, unless you meant Dallas, and he's not in here because he's a pest. So, and then the last topic is getting to know your audience. So I understand people with beards. If I am selling beard oil, I am not going to be selling it to some, people that don't have beards. It doesn't make any sense. Well, it sounds corny, but there's a lot of people out there that do that. They don't they're selling products to people that don't have beards. And you've got to know it. You've got to do some research. I don't know how many, I don't know how many people are listening, but if you are, have you ever done market research? Like, find out your demographic. And maybe that goes back to changing the product too. Maybe there's something in that demographic that you can change to make your product different, and you can target it. I'm going to give you a great example. So going back to soap, and please, you know what? Don't knock this off. I'm giving you one of my secrets, one of my products. So I sell soap, and the soap is kind of expensive, but I have a niche market, and it's mudders. These are guys that like to get dirty in the mud. So I sell them mud, Dead Sea mud soap for mudders. And it's like 3 times the price, and it's a lot bigger. But they like it because it's for mudders and they get clean with mud. Well, I know my audience, and I can charge the price, and I can create the packaging to do it. That's the secret. And this is the other thing. Maybe you have a product that can be cross-promoted, or you can take to different audiences and just put different packaging on it. And some people will pay more than other people for this exact same product in a different package. And I'm going to give you, I can't tell you the name, but we had a package that started out at around like $49. We got new packaging. It went up to $100. And now, I am not kidding you, the package, and I know he's on the call, and I'm not saying anything about your product, but the package is now it's a wood package, beautifully, like, high perceived value, and we're selling the same product at $200, and the cost of it is $16. It's crazy, but people will pay, and it started out at $49. So if you know your audience, you can get a higher perceived value just by changing around the packaging a little bit. You can target them in the Amazon listing. You can target them on Facebook, and you can get a lot more profit because they're willing to pay, because it's specifically for their niche. So I think that's about it. Is there any other questions or anything?
No, but just let them know if they put them in the comments that you'll be answering.
Yeah. So thank you, Kelsey. So yeah, just one more reminder: if you do have a question or you think of something later, just put it in the comments, and we'll get back to you a little bit later with the answer. And
if you found this useful, please give it a like.
Kelsey, come over here and just say it. Okay, I mean, he's telling me to do this. You can't hear him. This is Kelsey, my son, by the way, who's directing me.
Hello, everyone. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, share it, and tag a friend that might find it useful. And thank you.
There we go. So he does this much better than me. Anyways, we're going to be doing this. We're trying to do this about twice a week. But I bring on a guest on Thursdays, and then I just do this on my own on Tuesdays at lunch. So if you enjoyed it, and you had a nice coffee, and you learned something, let me know. And I guess that's about it. You already talked about social media. We'll see you next Tuesday. And now I've got to figure out how to shut this off. There, I learned.